Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now today I have got a game between Mouse Esports HasuObs, who of course is the red Protoss player in the top right, who's playing against the orange Terran, KrasS, who of course used to play for Blast, used to be Blast KrasS, but KrasS is still a good player and I am happy about this. So it is going to be a TvP, which means we should see lots of Marines, lots of Marauders, lots of Stimming, lots of Medevacs, some Storms, some Colossi, some Gateway units, maybe a bit of Blink. Who knows, it'll all be fun. Anyway, it is a custom game. It is just the best of one though, as far as I am aware. And, well, the map is Cloud Kingdom. Cloud Kingdom is a fun map, the natural base, not super easy to take, not super hard to take either. So we'll wait and see what each of these players feels like doing today. Now, obviously, the thing I like most about TvP is just there are some really clearly defined points in it, at least in a general game. Usually you have kind of phase 1 where gateway units are really strong and Marines alone struggle, Marines and Marauders still struggle. You then get, as a Terran Stim pack out, obviously that means the Marines and Marauders are very good against gateway units, and once Medevacs hit the field as well, then will really Marines, Marauders and Medevacs wreck gateway units. That is the point at which the kind of bio ball starts assembling, and you tend to see the Protoss player have to either get Colossus for their thermal lance and the AoE damage, or High Templar with Storm. And obviously the Storm is a lot better burst, but doesn't have the sustainability effect, and obviously there's the fact that units can just move out of it. So we'll wait and see exactly how these two players go for it, and what really happens if we do get into the late game at all, because of course there's lots of cheesy all-ins that can happen before then. There's lots of pretty standard all-ins that can happen before that point as well. The probe is going to be able to get in. We'll see any scouting timing on the gases, which of course is the important thing you should be looking for. These early scouts, what they are looking for is gas. No gas means it's either going to be a lot of tier 1 units, so maybe a proxy 2 racks or something, or that they're going to be going for an expansion very quickly, so something like a 1 racks command center. If you see 1 gas, it usually means they're going to get some key tech. Perhaps you consider, again it's unlikely, but maybe a Reaper, for example, is something that could be coming down. 2 gas means they're going really tech heavy, so if I saw 2 gas early on, I'd be thinking something like Banshee would be the most likely thing coming out, or something along those kind of lines. Now, obviously there is just the 1 gas out at the moment for HasuObs. He is getting down a cybernetic score, he's got his gateway, nothing else. Command center just being shut down for KrasS, so as to be expected, what will happen next is most likely he will grab 2 gas really quite quickly, because that's what he'll need to be in order to catch up in terms of his economy. May throw down a bunker as well. Getting the bunker would delay the need for the 2 gas, because obviously the bunker would give him extra defense against that kind of stalker. Zealot aggression, which is oh so common. Now the Zealot is already out, the Stalker on its way, a natural base being taken now by Hasu as well, so everything is really going to plan. It's definitely going up to be more, and wow! KrasS going for a rack CCCC build, so gonna have that 3rd command center very quickly out. That does mean that he'll have the ability to produce 3 SCVs at a time, which will allow him to keep up with the 2 Nexus chrono boosting our probes, and obviously it will give him 3 mules. That is a much more significant thing. That's Zealot very nearly dying there, but a Stalker coming around from behind, the bunker on its way up. Good positioning for the bunker. The other place you can put this bunker is back here, which makes it very, very secure, but you tend to see that more often against Zerg because it stops the Zerglings. Now that Stalker is going to go down, which is not something you can afford to do, but somehow, how did that Stalker get out alive? I have no clue. KrasS really should have killed that, to be honest. There's no excuses for that not dying. The Zeta will... Seriously, these are the luckiest units ever. 2 HP and like 12. How did that even happen? Seriously, KrasS, how did he not kill either of those? That is like epic luck from the Protoss player there. That said, it does finally die though. The Stalker will probably die as well, unless it turns out and runs away very quickly. Doesn't manage to get a Marine though, so that is a good little win. Meanwhile, looking back at the base, still not much else coming down. Got 2 more gateways, taking us up to 3 gates. Again, 3 gates on 2 bases is really standard. It's just going to allow a couple more gateway units to come out, just be a bit more defensive. The 3rd orbital command is morphing in at the moment. We do have, well, a 2nd bunker actually on its way, so clearly KrasS slightly concerned about getting some pressure. Understandable though, because he has not got many units on the field due to the fact that he went for a 1 barracks into 2 command centers, so that obviously means that he wasn't able to get these extra barracks, which are now on the field. He's got the tech lab, the double gas is down. Looking up at Hasu's base, he's got 2 gas, no sign of 3rd or 4th yet. He does have a robotic facility coming down as well, so We may see a Twilight Council. That is something that is always a possibility, to get Blink out, then use the Observer to gain vision of the high ground and blink those Stalkers up and be irritating. Alternatively to a Blink Observer play, we could just see a couple of Immortals on the field. It could be a rush up to KrasS. We'll wait and see. Really, there's no quick and simple way to tell, but what we can say for the moment is KrasS is in a very good defensive position. If we look at the worker count as well, 38 to 35 in HasuObs' favour. When you factor the mules in, that should actually give KrasS the better income. Looking there, he's just got up his third gas. The third and fourth gas now on their way out as well for HasuObs. So really both players are taking up nicely. The robotics Faye on its way, so a really quick rush up to KrasS tech right now out of the Protoss player. The fourth gas on the way out for KrasS. Now KrasS needs to see that KrasS on its way, because he really needs to start thinking about getting Vikings out, otherwise he will be encountering problems when the KrasS count gets above sort of 2-3ish. Then if he doesn't have Vikings, he can't just snipe it down with infantry, and it'll be very difficult to deal with. The other thing, of course, is because those KrasS are going to hit so early, then there's always the concern that you're not going to be able to get enough medevacs out to be able to heal up your infantry, which means the little splash they do will just be too much, and especially if you're stimming, it could cause a lot of damage. Now, we do have more observers on their way out. We do have a double forge on its way, so HasuObs clearly gearing up to go into the late game here. We do have the starport on its way out now for KrasS. He's getting the reactor on the factory, so that'll switch. It's just going to power add-ons. He does already have his double engineering bay getting the 1-1 upgrades out, so that's slightly ahead. The first KrasS on its way. We do have extended thermal lance coming out as well now for HasuObs, and that is all pretty nice. Now, of course, I didn't mention that both these players are German players, so this is a bit of a inner nationality grudge match for these two, so you can't even support your favorite country, which is always a bit of a sad time, because that is what most people tend to do in big sporting events they don't follow. You can tell I went to the London 2012 Olympics, where everyone suddenly got behind every sport, regardless if they knew the rules beforehand, but that is all fun. Anyway, we do have these Marines moving back. Obviously that observer not going to be able to get in too much, because there is of course a missile turret at the main and natural. The third base being taken quite happily by KrasS now, but gets scouted out, so obviously that's been there for quite a while, but it will put KrasS a base up for quite a while, because the third nexus hasn't even been thought of quite yet. We do have one KrasS out. There is a third nexus on its way. A second KrasS is started as well. Obviously extended thermal lance, 3/4 done, and we've got a lot of infantry moving across the map right now. The KrasS is going to be revealed though, so we do have the one starport down already, a second one already in production, medevacs being produced out of one. Probably they'll get up to about 4 to 6 medevacs, and then it'll be pure Vikings. The second starport most likely will be used for Vikings only, just really as a quick way to deal with everything that could be hitting. Now we do have the 5th and 6th gas on the way out for KrasS, our Terran player here. He is also getting up some good more production. He's getting the armory ready for getting those 2-2 upgrades. The 1-1 upgrades about to finish for HasuObs as well. He is getting his Twilight Council out as well, ready to get his 2-2 upgrades. Is he chrono boosting? Yes, he is chrono boosting on the forges. And, well, a bit of a supply block here for HasuObs, which is not something you really want. 4 pylons are in production though, so that'll be ended very, very quickly. You don't really want to be getting supply blocked at this kind of level. You can't afford to. Now, we do have one dropship coming over, but the Observer does spot it, which means those 2 Stalkers should easily be able to get in to deal with it. And, of course, there are 4 Marauders in there, more Stalkers warping in. And, well, that dropship is going to get taken down exceptionally quickly, unless it does turn tail and run, which it seems it's going to be able to, which is a good little win there for KrasS. Really, HasuObs should have picked that off, considering that he did say coming, but we do now have a 2-prong attack, or at least it was attempting to be a 2-prong attack. Viking production really ramping up now. We do have Vikings, 4 Vikings produced at a time, really start dealing with the KrasS. There are 2 on the field, no more on the way at the moment though, so it's just those 2 KrasS, and now a lot more Immortals. A big double drop coming in behind here, but there's just too many KrasS. And, well, the KrasS just shredding everything, and all these units being forced back. Did they manage to get any kills? Not really, nothing really substantial. And so far, KrasS losing an awful lot more than his opponent, 5 times more actually, which proportionally sounds huge, but when you consider it's only 1,000 resources, it just means HasuObs is doing a great job of preserving his army and not losing things unnecessarily, which is always what you want to be doing when your opponent took bases faster than you did, because they probably have a better income. In terms of the worker count, 64 to 60 workers in KrasS' favour. When you factor in the mules as well, that should put him quite nicely ahead, as we're seeing here. Obviously, there's also the additional gas income, which is now going to level out, because HasuObs does have his 5th and 6th gas on the way. The 2 KrasS not really being joined by anything else at the moment, just more Immortals. We do have High Templar on the way. High Templar are a great thing to get a couple of KrasS with a couple of of High Templar is a lot better in my mind than a lot of Colossi or a lot of High Templar individually, because they complement each other. The High Templar Storms obviously deal the good burst damage, the Colossi are able to keep the sustained damage up as well and really finish things off, and generally they just complement each other. So definitely every Protoss player can learn a lot from Hasu right now about his army composition. Now we do have units moving across the map. A great scan goes off just to get a great look at exactly what is on the field, and that is precisely what he should be doing. Now there's a lot of Vikings though. That first Colossus nearly falls instantly, which is never going to be fun. The Vikings moving forward. One Colossus does go down. The Vikings do need to be careful though, and of course now with the lack of AoE we will see Hasu get into a very quick retreat, but of course with the stim forward that is going to be very, very powerful. A lot of force fields are being forced just to prevent really Hasu losing right then and there. The scan goes off to see what units are remaining. KrasS with a big supply advantage at the moment. He's moving those Vikings forward. Storm is on its way out, so is Charge. But for the moment, force fields just being forced everywhere. And of course, if force fields are used early on, they're not going to be there for the later engagements. A good stim forward trying to pick off a couple more sentries. The sentry does manage to survive though. Now the important thing is the KrasS doesn't overcommit, because obviously the Colossus could start picking things off. But is it going to fall? Yes, it does, and that is a major win right there for KrasS. He is able to prevent any AoE damage, and really now just gateway units against Stim Marines and Marauders with medevac support, which is going to be very, very powerful. Storms are now available though, as we are seeing. A good storm goes off there, deals quite a bit of damage. Now what KrasS needs to do is to split up his units. He's picking off the sentries. Another storm does go off, but the units are able to evade it pretty effectively. Great splitting out of KrasS right now. That is a good storm, but still the momentum of this push keeps going. There's no more storms available as far as I can see. The third base is taken down. That is putting KrasS in a major economic advantage. Now if I was KrasS in this situation, I would be incredibly tempted just to fall back, because he doesn't really have the overwhelming force he did initially, and due to that I would be tempted just to pull back and wait for my reinforcements, especially due to doing so much. These probes, long distance mining though, so many got taken out there. That is a big loss, 22 workers killed. That now puts the worker count of 50 to 58, but still in KrasS's favour. And of course Hasu now is going to have some big problems dealing with this. Actually, it's in Hasu's favour, the worker count, surprisingly. I'm not sure where everything is being killed. We do have zealots being morphed in. I couldn't actually see those two zealots there. Where did they come from? The pylons hidden down here. So that was a good counterattack and really keeping Hasu in this game for the moment, and may explain why KrasS continued this push. But there's a lot of zealots there, of course a lot of Archons as well. Archons are good temporarily, but not something you want too many of in your late game composition, because they are too easily countered by Terran. Now looking here in the worker count, 49 to 56. If we look at the workers killed, it actually came out way better for HasuObs compared to KrasS right there. But KrasS does have their mules, and mules are good units, yo. We do have more stuff coming down. Those zealots are able to go to town on one of the mules, and really those pylons are going to be really irritating. Meanwhile, through the center of the map, Hasu is moving across. KrasS with the supply lead at the moment, but generally that's accountable for a little bit. The loss of the third base is going to be the real big loss, because while of course we do see Hasu here with more workers, he's not able to mine efficiently with those, because he would be oversaturated as his two bases. The three bases are still there, of course, for KrasS, and just look at that difference. We've got big engagement coming in here now, and it does look like Hasu is not happy to engage with better concave there for KrasS, so he does pull back for the moment though. Those storms are trying to go down. Some good splitting. The Colossus is taking damage from the Vikings, but only 3 Vikings on the field. They need to be careful. Another good storm, and KrasS running straight through it. He can't afford to lose that many units, but he is picking off a lot of High Templar. No more storms are available. If the Vikings can pick off just one of those Colossus, it will really, really help the entire engagement, and that looks like what the Vikings are going to try and do. But the Stalkers blink forward and deal huge damage behind this. Of course, upgrade wise we do have 2-2 compared to 2-2, so equal upgrades, plus 3 Terran infantry weapons compared to plus 3 Protoss armor on their way out. So again, the upgrade advantages are going to neither player's favour. We've got a lot of reinforcements coming across the map for both players at the moment. KrasS still in the supply lead. In terms of the worker count, 56 to 52. When you factor in mules, that is not significant enough. We don't have any mining from the main base of either player, I would imagine. Now, another wave of zealots are coming into the third base. We do have a big engagement at the third of Hasu though, and that is really where the damage is going to be done. Of course, these zealots absolutely going to stand. There's a lot of infantry there that Hasu is not having to engage because they haven't been brought over, but now we do see it. KrasS is going to go and clean up those zealots, so they're not going to be able to do too much more. Looking at the third base though of the Protoss, the Terran player is pushing forward so aggressively, a lot of Marauders in there, and the third base is going to get sniped out yet again, and that means the KrasS is really a base up in terms of mining. Hasu is on just the one mining base as is natural due to his main base being completely mined out. We do have a lot of medevacs trying to get over there to help some of this here now. Obviously, the heals from those medevacs will be absolutely essential to make this force more usable, and we do see Hasu pulling back at the moment. He does have a few more High Templar in there now, but how many workers have been killed? Well, 36 to 15. The worker count now 45 to 56 in Hasu's favour, but that means massive oversaturation on long distance mining. We have more engagements going on here still. A lot of probes even being pulled just to try and make this work, but KrasS now had over double the supply of his opponent and is looking to be in an absolutely dominating spot. He's got a huge amount of reinforcements to move across the map. That storm is brilliant though, gets quite a few medevacs. Another big storm goes off as well. Doesn't quite manage to kill the medevacs, but still storming everywhere, and those storms are so powerful. But these reinforcements, I think, could be the end of the line for Hasu right now. He does not have enough money to do anything else. So many probes moving through, and they are all getting taken out. And there is the GG. Well played, and well played indeed it was, in my opinion, by KrasS. Both those players did actually have an amazing game. That was such a good PVT. I loved it. Anyway, guys, if you loved it as well, subscribe because I get new top level games up every day of the week. Leave a cool comment about the game, the players, the caster. What did you think? Did you enjoy that PVT? Tell me if you did, and like the video and follow me on Twitter. That'd be great. Anyway, if you're more StarCraft, flick over to my channel because I've got loads of games up there, and if you have seen all of them, I will catch you tomorrow for yet another top level match. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy as much as I did. Bye for now.